We all have this picture in our heads, right, of who we want to be. But then there's, well, the reality of our day-to-day, and that gap can feel huge. This is all about building the bridge over that gap. We're going to break down the actual practical steps to build the kind of self-discipline that turns your biggest goals from just a dream into a real plan. Let's dive in.
You know that feeling, right? Where you're just waiting, waiting for that sudden burst of motivation, for all the stars to perfectly align, for that one perfect moment to finally get started. But let's be honest with ourselves. That moment, it's a myth. It never really comes. And while we're busy waiting, our potential is just sitting there collecting dust.
So let's start with the foundation. Before we even get to the how, we've got to talk about the why. And it all starts with getting real about the true price of ambition.
It's so easy to fantasize about the finish line, the celebration, the applause, the results. But that's just the highlight reel. The reality of success is the gritty, often unglamorous process. The real journey isn't the party at the summit. It's the difficult climb to get there. And that's exactly where most people stop.
And here's a huge insight. Growth only happens at the point of resistance. It's that exact moment the alarm clock goes off and your brain floods with a million excuses to stay in bed. That isn't a signal to quit. That's the signal that you're right at the edge of your comfort zone. And that's precisely where progress is made.
This is such a perfect way to think about it. That initial shock of discomfort, it's over in a flash. But the feeling you get after, that pride, that sense of accomplishment, that growing trust in yourself, that's what actually lasts. You're not just building a new habit, you're building a new belief in what you're capable of.
Okay, so now that we've accepted the price of the view, let's talk about the very first step of the climb. And this one's a bit counterintuitive, but it's crucial. You have to start before you feel ready. This is one of the biggest mental traps we fall into. We tell ourselves we need to feel confident in order to act, but that's completely backward. We're waiting around for a feeling that only action itself can create. This whole waiting to be ready thing is just procrastination in a very clever disguise. Let this one really sink in. Courage isn't some magical ingredient you have to find before you can begin. It's the byproduct of beginning. It's the reward you get for taking that initial leap. The feeling always follows the action, never the other way around. So stop searching for confidence like it's a set of lost keys. Start building it. Every small, imperfect step you take lays another brick in that foundation of self-belief. The only thing you truly need to start is to be right here, right now. Okay, so you've taken that first scary step. Now what? How do you keep going? Well, this next part is all about the quiet magic of consistency and how the smallest, most insignificant actions, when repeated, create an absolutely unstoppable force. Your brain is going to fight you on this for sure. When you sit down to practice for just 10 minutes, that little voice in your head will start whispering, "This is pointless. This isn't enough to make any real difference." And you know what? In that single moment, it feels true. But this is where the magic really happens. A month later, all those pointless 10-minute sessions have started to stack up. And suddenly, you're not just fumbling through it anymore. You're actually doing it. That small effort has compounded into a real, tangible skill. Now, fast forward a year, and that skill has woven itself right into the fabric of who you are. You're no longer just someone who is learning to play. You're a musician. That is the incredible, transformative power of just showing up day after day. This image says everything. The initial effort to get a huge, heavy train to move is immense. But once it has momentum, it's almost impossible to stop. Your habits work the exact same way. The beginning is always the hardest part. Your only job is to just keep pushing. So please, let go of the all-or-nothing mindset. It's not about a perfect hour-long workout. It's about being present for 5 minutes. Showing up imperfectly is infinitely better than not showing up at all, because it keeps the wheels of momentum turning. Okay, so you're building momentum, but what happens when you hit a roadblock? Because you will. The journey to any goal worth having is never, ever a straight line. The key isn't to avoid setbacks, but to completely change your relationship with them. We are so conditioned to see failure as a final verdict on our ability. But what if it's not an endpoint? What if it's just data? Failure is just information. It's a signal telling you that this specific approach isn't working. It's a sign to adjust, not to quit. This is such a powerful way to reframe it.
When you miss a turn, your GPS doesn't just shut down and say, well, I guess the trip is over. No way. It just says recalculating. And that's the mindset you need. Treat your setbacks like a wrong turn. Don't abandon the destination. Just find a new route. And here's another huge trap to watch out for. Comparing your messy, chaotic, behind-the-scenes footage to someone else's perfectly edited highlight reel. It's a recipe for discouragement. Your journey is your own. The only person you should be competing against is who you were yesterday.
And remember, discipline is not about a relentless, nonstop grind. That's just the fastest way to burn out. Rest isn't the opposite of progress. It's a vital component of it. You have to recharge if you want to keep going. So here it is, the whole cycle of growth in a nutshell. It starts when you stepped into discomfort. Then you act before you feel ready. You build momentum through those small, consistent pushes. And when you inevitably hit a wall, you learn, you recalculate, and you keep going. This isn't a one-time thing. It's a continuous loop. And finally, let's redefine what self-discipline even is. It's not about being harsh on yourself or forcing yourself to do things you hate. It's really an act of self-belief. It's about showing up for your future self and honoring the potential you know is inside you. Because in the end, the destination is only part of the story. The real prize is the person you become during the journey, the strength, the resilience, the wisdom you pick up along the way. So the ultimate question isn't just about what you'll get at the top of the mountain, but who you'll be when you get there. Who are you becoming?